If you don't have over 2 hours to watch the full podcast episode between Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson, don't worry, I got you covered. I'll be sharing with you the top 3 lessons that I got from it and how you can also apply it in your life. I'm a personal development coach that overcame a 20-year addiction to video games. I help people overcome procrastination, feeling stuck, and effectively achieve any life goal by being more consistent. And that includes watching these podcast videos and seeing actual steps that we can all apply to our own lives. With that being said, let's get started.
Say what you want about Mel Gibson, but the son of a bitch knows story structure.
Lesson number 1, focus on the important things and don't get so caught up in the doom and gloom that you see on social media or on TV. Both Joe and Mel have seen some things when it came to traditional media and Hollywood.
You know what? For most people, it is their number one fear.
Sure.
Is public humiliation.
Yeah. Because we're not sure of our own opinions about it. Well, you've been through a lot.
Well, so have you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I think
Sure.
they were giving you a grilling once for taking horseworm medicine.
Yeah.
They stated multiple times that there is evil in plain sight. But there wasn't this dark overtone where it was really negative and depressing. It was just simply they're listing out the facts, their observations, but then also focusing on the good. And it was a normal conversation, which was refreshing.
You think, well, why? Well, why?
Because of money. I think this is what we were talking about before, that there is good and evil.
Yeah.
And sometimes it manifests itself in a very clear and obvious way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what that was. That was evil. That was putting people's lives second and putting money first.
My main takeaway from this is just be aware of what's happening around you. Don't get overconsumed by it and just simply focus on doing better. Lesson number 2, learn on your own and also from other people. There are certain times in the podcast where maybe they didn't have the same perspective, but they were open and willing to hear what the other person thought. It was just a real chill, good, upbeat vibe, and you were able to kind of at least pick up what the other person was saying. And how oftentimes do you hear about politics or something else and people just feel like it's my way or the highway? But in these type of conversations, they're just like, I don't really agree with that, but okay, let me hear your thoughts quickly.
But you do think that human beings were created by God?
I do, yeah.
When do you think that happened?
When? Oh, probably, and not that long ago.
Really?
No, not really.
Like, what do you mean by not that long ago?
Probably only about 8,000 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you think things like Göbekli Tepe are when they find these constructions that are carbon dated to 11,000 plus years old?
I question carbon dating.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes things a lot simpler.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of money in claims, and I don't know.
In addition, don't just blindly agree and follow whatever they say on social media or on TV. Mel described on how he's able to learn, and he does that by reading historical books and bibliographies. Both Mel and Joe enjoy learning life lessons through other people's stories, what they've endured.
Well, that's another unique thing about human beings, is that we learn from others in a very extraordinary way. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why we like stories.
Yeah.
Why we like myths and fables, because there's lessons you can apply to your own life without having to actually go through those things.
Yeah. I don't have many devices for information. I read books. I read mostly history books.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And lesson number 3, focus on something bigger than yourself. When Mel was talking about how he overcame his addictions or his deep religious beliefs, that was the common theme, is not focusing on himself, but rather looking externally, outward, how he can do better. In my opinion and observation, I think that's what keeps him so genuine and so humble.
I think what you're being asked to do is to think about other people and other things more than yourself, because it's kind of an ego disease.
Yeah.
So
that is the problem with addiction, right? It's very narcissistic.
Very narcissistic.
Because you're constantly thinking about yourself and what you need. Mm-hmm. I need a drink. I need a bump. I need I need something.
Sure, I need and no matter what you need, it's never going to be enough.
Right.
So you actually have to appeal to something outside that you consider bigger and better than yourself, which instantly kind of pushes you more in the direction of humility.
Yes.
because you're not the center of the universe anymore.
Right.
Overall, this was a great podcast video, and fun fact, did you know that Mel Gibson saved Robert Downey Jr.'s career?
And most importantly, he said that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings, and if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus he calls it, I'd become a man of some humility and that my life would take on a new meaning. And I did, and it worked.
That's right, we wouldn't have Iron Man, Avengers, none of that if Mel Gibson didn't take a chance and help RDJ when he was at his lowest point through drug addiction and just completely washed up in Hollywood. I did a whole other video that'll be showing up right here, because who doesn't like a good redemption story? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.